Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss about Newton's laws of motion. In this video we will cover Newton's first law and second law and springs combination. So without wasting any time, let us start the video. Hi everyone, my name is B. Aditya and welcome to my channel. Newton proposed three laws. On motion, on the bodies of motion which are in motion, Newton proposed three laws. So we are going to start with the first law. Okay, so this is Newton's first law. I will explain it now. A body tries to stay in initial form of motion until and unless an external force is applied on it. Let us suppose this is a ball of mass m which is at rest. Now it will try to stay at rest only. It will not try to move until and unless a force is applied on it, external force. When we apply some force, it will move. In the same way, let us suppose this is another mass m which is moving on road with a velocity v. Now this body would not try to stop and get back to rest. It will try to keep on moving. Okay, so an external force is applied on it. When an external force is applied on it, it comes to rest. So this is Newton's first law, and this property is known as inertia. Okay, first copy this one, then we will study about inertia. So what is inertia? Okay, the tendency of a body to not change its initial state of motion. Okay, the tendency of a body to not change the initial state of motion. So inertia is subdivided into two parts again. The first one is inertia of rest, and the second one is inertia of motion. So now we will study both of these. First you can copy this one. Okay, so the first one is inertia of rest. What is inertia of rest? Suppose this is a truck. Okay, so this is a bus. Okay, which is at rest initially, and you are standing in the bus. So suddenly the bus starts. Okay, initially it is at rest and suddenly it starts. Then you fall backwards. Due to the sudden jerk, you will fall backwards. Your body will fall backwards. So this is known as inertia of rest. This happens because the feet move along with the bus, but the body does not move. This is why we experience a sudden jerk and fall backwards. So this is inertia of rest. We will study inertia of motion with the same example. So So what is inertia of motion? Now suppose you are in the same bus again. And this time the bus is moving. It is going forwards and suddenly it stops. Suddenly the driver of the bus applies brake. So what will happen? You will tend to fall forwards. Okay? In the same way as the previous case, in this case the legs stop with the bus. Okay? And the body does not stop. So we fall forward due to the sudden jerk we experience. So this is nothing but inertia of motion. So you may copy this one. So this is about Newton's first law. Now we shall study Newton's second law. So Newton's second law states that delta P is proportional to F external. So delta P is nothing but the change in linear momentum. Linear momentum is mass into velocity. We will study about that in the next lecture. So delta P is, okay, I will give an introduction on linear momentum. So linear momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. So this is linear momentum. So he is saying that for a body in motion, linear momentum, which is equal to mass into velocity, is directly proportional to force which is applied externally. Like suppose this is a ball of mass m, and due to the force applied, suppose this is F, it starts moving with a velocity v. So he is saying that delta P, that change in momentum, initially it was at rest. So initially mv is 0 because v is 0. Now change in momentum is mv. So mv is directly proportional to F in this case. So from here we can derive a formula. I will put that on the screen and give a voice over. I am not going to write that derivation. So here we have taken a body of mass m with velocity v. The linear momentum of the body is mv. So delta P is small change in linear momentum, and F is an external force which we have applied on the body in the same direction of motion of body. So delta P is proportional to F. I have told the formula on board. If we substitute and integrate, we will get the value F is equal to ma. Please remember this. So now we are going to study about springs. So we will study more about it in an SHM lecture, but first we shall learn the basics of it. So suppose this is a spring, and suppose this is another spring of spring constant K. So the spring constant is K1, the spring constant is K2, then K effective is equal to K1 plus K2. This is known as parallel combination of springs. Now let us suppose the same case. So this is first spring, this is second spring, then K effective is equal to K1 K2 upon K1 plus K2. So here 1 by K effective is equal to 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2. When you take the LCM and simplify, it will come as K effective is equal to K1 K2 upon K1 plus K2. So now let us move on to our last topic of the day, which is frame of reference. Okay, this lecture is going to be a bit short because I am not going to explain any numericals. First we will discuss all the concepts one by one in each and every lecture. Then at last I will bring a numerical video like I did in collisions, and in that we will discuss all the sums related to all the topics. Okay, so frame of reference I will explain with an example. So let us suppose this is Earth. So now you are standing on Earth and someone asks you what is the state of motion of Earth according to you, with respect to you, then you say Earth is at rest. But for someone who is standing on moon, let us suppose this is moon. For someone who is standing here, now we will ask him what is the state of motion of earth with respect to you. Then he will say that earth is moving around the sun. So this is known as frame of reference. Okay, so frame of reference is like an opinion. It changes person by person. For me, the earth is at rest because I am standing on the earth. For someone who is on the moon, it appears to be at motion because he is looking at the earth rotating around the sun. So that is known as frame of reference. It is subdivided into two parts. The first one is inertial frame of reference, and the second one is non-inertial frame of reference. Okay, so the first one is inertial and the second one is non-inertial. Inertial frame of reference means the person who is observing is at rest, or the net force at him is 0, or he is moving with a uniform velocity. Basically, acceleration of the person would be 0, like if he is standing here. So in the world there is no ideal inertial frame of reference. It is just a theoretical bit which we will learn. Like if you see an apple falling, with respect to you, earth is at rest, so you will be an ideal frame of reference. But this does not accept the definition properly. But in physics, we consider an ideal frame of reference with inertial frame of reference. Okay, so this is a person. Either F net on him is 0. So like 5 Newton and 5 Newton are acting on the both sides. So he remains to be at rest. Or otherwise he is at rest, he is not moving. He is standing like this. The second case. Or the third case is he is moving with uniform velocity. So acceleration is change in velocity upon time taken. So when he is moving with uniform velocity, change in velocity will be 0. So acceleration will be 0. So this is known as inertial frame of reference. This is also known as Galilean frame of reference. Okay, so that is inertial frame of reference. And the non-inertial frame of reference means he is moving. The person has acceleration. He is moving with some acceleration. This is known as non-inertial frame of reference. In non-inertial frame of reference, a pseudo force also acts on that body. So what is pseudo force? We will learn in the next lecture.